So my name is Mel Jones. Anne Smith is my co-worker, as it were, and we're doing a show called Cradle to the Grave, which is going on in Edinburgh from the 13th to the 19th. 18th, sorry. 18th. And it wouldn't work the other way round, so it's rather better that I go first. Kind of, you know, ease you into it, as it were. Ready for Anne to his delightful stories about babies. Yeah, that's another story. Anyway, so, to give you a little bit of a kind of background story, I thought I'd do a piece of vaguely autobiographical poetry, just to give you the general picture before we go into my main sort of thrust, as it were. Did I spit?
No,
was it on you?
Spit on you, baby.
Only if you're a very, very good girl. So, this first piece, as I say, autobiographical, it's called Tenderness. We all start out so innocent, but I fell to sinful ways. Not just the usual, you know, stockings and garter belts and stays, but ripping teenage knickers off and assuming the position to be a fairground bumper car in a multiple collision. I bathed in clouds of talc so I could roll on rubber dresses, responded with orgasmic screams to violent caresses. I lathered up in squirty cream and frolicked in Missoula, and provided novel storage space for a well-charged Motorola. I've been tied to a forest tree by an elderly acquaintance and taken stern instruction in the rituals of the ancients. Attended fetish festivals where strangers copped a feel, and once inserted fruit into a lecture from a keel. In summertime and younger days I did a spot of dogging and honed my skills in water sports, anality and flogging. I plumbed the deep depravities a la Marquis de Sade, and I've gone down it all again with a webcam. And some lard. I don't have a virginity intact that I can think of. There's no climactic precipice I've not been on the brink of, but for all this hedonistic pleasure and excess, nothing's ever touched me more than simple tenderness. Thank you. So, Cradle to Grave. My time between the cradle and the grave has been mainly concerned with drinking, smoking and shagging. Not necessarily in that order. Yeah. That's right, anyone think I was a Tory. This story, fair enough though, fair enough. This story is distilled from many, many nights of drunken slackhood, and it is called Hangover. It's the morning after the night before. It feels as if my tongue spent the best part of last night. I'll put that just there. A herd of thundering buffalo is charging through my head, and I can't remember where I've been, or what I did or said. My eyes don't want to open because they're crusty, sore, and filmy. It'd only be a token fight if someone tried to kill me. And something smells a bit like fish, and there's pizza on the floor, and hang on, just a second. That isn't my door. And there are toilet flushes somewhere quite nearby, and memories start bubbling up. Oh me, oh fucking my. And I think I'm east of London, and I need to get home soon before that bloke, I want to say Dave, comes back into the room, but I'm slow, and I don't make it. And in wanders my lay, which is when I realised last night I wasn't only drunk, but gay. Hi Mel, says the ravishing beauty, apparently named Linda, as she traces round my wavering smile with a slow, familiar finger. And it's in that tender moment the good Lord grants my wishes are finally pieced together. Well, I thought I could smell fish. It's not my crowning moment. Not one I'll tell me mum, but fuck it all, you only live once. And And I think she made me come. Thank you! Start to be forming now in your head. And indeed I spent many, many evenings in pubs not dissimilar to this one. And in one of those pubs, on one of those evenings, somebody leaned over to me and said, you know, we've got a filthy poem. I said, well, that's not much of a challenge really for me. So quick as a flash, she said, but it's got to be about bestiality. And it can only use words beginning with the letter M. This was a challenge. And the result is this, it's called My mucky mate Megan's monstrous moggy Magdalena made my mistress Mandy moan, mouthing the owls mellifluously. Maybe Mandy missed meeting male members. Maybe many malicious macho men mauled my mistress's mound, making Mandy murmur muddled musings. Mutter its messages, make myriad mistakes, mysterious. Meanwhile, my mucky mate Megan's monstrous moggy Magdalena moved, muffward, menacingly. Magdalena made moves many might mirror, mixing masturbatory mayhem, melting Mandy's misgivings, milking my mistress's meandering mucosal moisture meticulously. Mandy, marooned, mouthed more, make me marvellous. Magdalena munched, muscularly, minutely masticating, mechanically mincing Mandy's mind, maddeningly mainlining minge. Magnificent, magnetic, messy, Moorish. Mel's memorandum. Must meet Magdalena. Thank you. Now, one of the other pitfalls of being a rank piss artist is what may happen to you on occasion on the way home. And this is about that. It goes out to all the ladies, because for gents it's not quite the same. And this is called Court Short. Returning late from Essex, I got down to the train and realised I really should have gone before I came. Still, the tube rolled in, and on I got in the hope I'd get home fast. But another 15 minutes in, I knew I wouldn't last. My tonsils started floating. I scrutinised the seating, wondering if it could stand a little bit of seeping. I clamped my knees together, but my bladder was not happy. And I'd shot a fairly envious glance at a baby in a nappy. Now, I didn't know the stations, but heard that Newbury Park had a ladies on the platform, so I swiftly disembarked. The shock of finding no such thing brought home some pressing facts, so I limped along the tarmac to a metal seat with slats. And sat there in the shadows till no one was about, and then rearranged me lower half and let the torrent out. Jesus Christ almighty! It was a powerful pee. I had to lift my legs up as it spread out copiously. And just then the last packed tube came in, warm and brightly lit. Rather like my pool of pee, now steaming quite a bit. And my choices in that moment seemed crystal clear to me, eternal embarrassment or getting home at 3. So I quickly hiked my knickers, got on board and shut my eyes as I felt residual trickling go down my inner thighs. And my eyes stayed shut until Bethnal Green, and I got off really quick, but not before some bloke could shout, "At least you didn't shit!" The other problems with being a terminal piss artist is that your looks go. They really fucking do. I know it's hard to believe looking at me now, but laugh. But I did have my moments of low self-esteem, you know. But luckily, these days we do have, you know, the sort of Trini and Susannas of this world. We have the Gokwans and those kind of people, all showing us how to look our very best. And it does beg the question in today's fascistoid body image society, does every girl need a gawk? As I looked at myself, without any disguise, no slap on my spots, no coal round my eyes, I thought to myself, liberated or no, your natural assets have a long way to go. When I tried to look sexy and puckered my lips, I looked like a camel that suffered from fits. Depression ensued, the weight piled on. It seemed that my chance for perfection was gone, but then I came in for a wonderful shock. I switched on the telly, and there was a gawk. Primping and preening, that was just him. And he made all the fat girls look like they were slim. He gathered their breasts into glorious mounds, slapped on the makeup, sucked in the pounds, and suddenly down the heavenly light stood a woman like me. She looked all right. So I nipped on the net for some foundation clothing, guaranteed to reduce belly fat and self-loathing. And when it arrived, I was powerfully moved by the thought I'd be getting fantastically smoothed. And although in a trice I was magically achieved and 2 sizes smaller, I just couldn't breathe. It felt like my liver and stomach had gone on an ill-advised journey to visit my bum. As my pancreas merged with my bladder and colon, I knew I'd have to roll off with a brolog. What use is the thrill of an hourglass you if you can't feel your fingers or go for a poo? So I'm back to a life in my natural state, and a girl without a gawk must accept a bleak fate. But still, on the whole, I prefer to look knackered than trussed up and hemmed in and pinned back and lacquered. Thank you. Now, it's an occupational hazard for me at this point, usually in the evenings. Fair few people say, you know, oh, I want to fuck her. It's understandable, it's understandable. So this is by way of an instructional piece, because we don't want anyone to get hurt, do we? So this is called Fuck Me If You Think You're Hard Enough. Because I don't fall in love. You know, I obsess. My infantile heart was lost the moment we undressed. My fantasy of you and me grew quicker than your cock the first time you saw my tits. My soul is in bits, just awaiting that next call from you. Who, let's face it, I don't know at all. And who could possibly have guessed that my yes could mean all this? But there's no need to piss yourself. Don't stress. Each time we fuck, the obsession will get a little bit less. I know myself. So the trick is, obviously, to fuck me cock. That's the key. Fuck me till I squawk. If you want the stalker in me to die a little death, then fuck me till I haven't any breath, till I'm distraught. Otherwise, I'm dangerous. So muster your defences and roger me so hard that I come to my senses. Take me repeatedly until I boo and hiss your length and breadth. Until soft tissues bruise and use up all the heat in me. Fuck me till I'm nothing but a sticky, oozing mess of juice and jizz. Oh. That kind of frequency and depth is therapy for me. And for you it's a fairly urgent health and safety issue. Thank you. I missed out a line, but we'll move on. But you know, sometimes, for some unknown reason, I end up going, you know, back to my place and, I don't know, switching on a video or something. And this is about that particular pastime, because I think we do need to have a serious discussion of pornography in the modern age. I'm about to have that with myself. This is called porn. I do not like Californian porn. That bland, soulless performance, where all the girls are perfect tens and the cocks are all enormous, and no one ever drops a fart, you know, or laughs, or has a breather, and everybody comes on time, which doesn't happen either. Now, it's not that I don't like a wank, unless I'm ill or sad, and if a porno gets me off, I don't see that so bad. But I prefer the amateur. It's much more masturbatory. Knocks the spots off money shots, false tits, and other fakery. My problem with that Hollywood stuff's not just that it's appalling in pandering to cruel stereotypes, it's also fucking boring. Let's see some real people, please, with their joyous imperfections, their bold patches and wobbly bits, and minor skin infections. Let's turn to porn that's made with love, for fun, and freely shared with every kind of body you could think of, if you dare. Let's celebrate each size and shape in a porno jamboree. Let's watch a paraplegic romp with a horny amputee. The more we break from Hollywood's fake, the more its power diminishes. And shouldn't we be waging war on fascist body images? So let's hear it for homemade porn. The quirky and erratic. It's not got everybody's vote, but it's fucking democratic. Fantastic. So, of course, porn leads you on, as it were, to what you do when you're watching it. Which isn't normally your nails, is it? No, it's wanking. Let's face it, it's wanking. It's not as if it wasn't going to come up, as the actress said. And I was going around the poetry circuit and realised, you know, that there's so many poems about wanking, mainly from men, that it's almost become a genre of its own. And I haven't got one. I've got a wanking poem. And I thought, I don't want to make it like everybody else's wanking poem. So I thought I'd give myself a little bit of discipline there. So I thought I'd use words only containing the vowel I. Seemed appropriate. Also, I like the idea of doing wanking with only I. So the result of that is this. It's been redone, so forgive me. It's called frigging it. If I'm itchy, slightly twitchy, I flick. I dig, twiddling with dribbly bits. Libidinising slickly with sprightly vim, I swing jiggly tips. This is it, I trill. It's brill, digits igniting, blitzing with ticklishly riffy licks till I'm whiffy. Is it kinky, inflicting this pin-prickly bliss, circling drizzlingly drippy brink brimming slit, risking cystitis with nimbly dysrhythmic wrist-twisting skill? Cynics insist it is, implying it'll blind silly dicks. I'll dismiss this nihilistic thinking with this ditty. Inhibiting instinct is dispiritingly British. This silky, shiny skimming isn't gimmickry, it isn't sick, it's civilising, it isn't iffy, it blights frigidity. Dim-wits will miss fiddling with rigid pricks, prim girls will miss flicking trickly bits, grimly missing frisky flights in fright while I ping nightly, winking brightly, finding lyricism, divinity, light in this dizzlingly ditzy, pink-lippy, lipsticky fizz. It isn't cryptic, it's thrilling, it's whiz, it's simply wrigglingly, writhingly, inspiringly right. This is it. Big finish. Night-night. Thank you.